Hello everyone. So there was something in my mind that I wanted to talk about. Now I have been talking about Jira data center and Jira cloud and demise of Jira data center. I know eventually Atlassian will announce one day that Jira data center will go away, but we all know that it is not really happening today or tomorrow. Maybe in near future they will announce it. I hope they will never say that. They will never announce this decommissioning of Jira data center. I hope Jira data center stays forever. But in any case, we know that we have 5-ish years, right? So we have a lot of time. We have a lot of scope, and we can do a lot of work as a consultant because we rely on Jira data center to earn our living. Now, what I wanted to talk about in this video is if you are in Jira data center, right, and you have to do some automation, would you or should you be using Jira data center automation or ScriptRunner? Now, I personally always use ScriptRunner, and I have a lot of reasons, but let us talk about a bit more in detail. So if you have, maybe I'll just move this camera here so you can see me properly. Okay, so if you have no script runner for Jira, which is rare, then of course you don't really have any option. You have to use Jira automation, right? So that is it, you got the answer. But if you have script runner for Jira and you have the option, then you might be tempted to use automation, right? Because automation rules can do things easily. You can write some code, or sorry, you can write some automation without writing any code, right? You have a lot of examples online. There are so many videos online from popular YouTubers like Ravi Sagar, where you can learn about how to create automation rules. If you go to his website, ravisagar.in, you will find those videos. But I personally always use on Jira Data Center ScriptRunner. So there are reasons for it. Number one, ScriptRunner scripts are something that we can version control. I know we can always version control the JSON export of your automation rule, but it is not the same, right? It is not the same thing, because JSON is something that is generated. It is not the code that you wrote. Also, when you write your own script, even though you're doing something simple, you can still write it in a way so that you can give it to someone and that person can look at the code and understand. So it is definitely readable. And when you talk about code, usually when we write scripts, we write it on lower environment, dev, and then we move it to production or staging. So you can do that with Jira Cloud Automation, but of course, it is not like copying pasting a script, right? It is something like a JSON that you need to import. And of course, when you are importing a JSON, it can, in a way, behave or work like what I'm talking about by doing a script. But when you have a script, you can copy paste, you can modify, you can share it easily. It is much more convenient. Also, the main reason is that your own script can be scalable. So although what you're doing right now today is something very simple, but that simple automation, that very simple use case can become a big use case, or it can get complicated, because you never know. When people start using Jira, when they're used to automations, when they know that yes, these things are possible, then of course there is no limit, right? So your script should be scalable. And of course there are other reasons. Sometimes when we write scripts using ScriptRunner for Jira, we sometimes write it as a listener, but then we might want to move it to post function, or we write it as a post function and then we move it to a listener, right? So because it's code, right? You can run the code from anywhere you want based on the requirement. Sometimes we run the same code manually using console. Let us say we have done some automation It's a listener, but that listener requires you to be run initially. Like the initial run should be done. So of course you can do it using your console. Yeah, you can do it using automation rules as well, but it is not the same thing, right? You can't really take a look at the log files. You can't really print the output the way you want. When you're writing your own scripts, you have the option to use your own logger, which you can then use to dump your Atlassian log file, right? So if you're a developer, if you have that development background, you will understand what I'm talking about, because it is not about writing a script to solve a problem today, or it is not about writing an automation to solve something today. It is about what you want to do or what can happen in near future. So you have to basically keep that in mind, right? You have to also think about and always assume that people will be asking you for more. So that is what I wanted to talk about, in this video. I thought I'll probably share my take on this. Yes, you can use automation, but it is a bit cumbersome to work with automation rules. And of course, I'm talking about simple automations. Usually, if you're not doing something very simple, then you have to, anyways, do a lot more work in your automation rules. Yes, automation rules can support if you want to maybe complicate things. You can have multiple components, but it is always limited. Yeah, because it is no code-based operation, or whatever you do, you're dragging and dropping those actions, and it will work. It will do the job, but there is a limit of what you can do. I don't really think you can have like a lot of components in your automation. When you have your own script, there is no limit, right? So even if it is something very simple, I would say go for ScriptRunner for Jira, right? And when you write your scripts, we talked about scalability, we talked about readability. We also find it very easy when we move scripts from one environment to another, completely different environment. Let us say you're managing two different Jira instances, right? Now, when you manage two different Jira instances, it can happen, right? It happens all the time. In a company, you have written maybe you're managing two Jira instances, then you may want to have your scripts written in such a way so that the same script will work, maybe based on the custom field names, maybe based on the custom field IDs. You can write scripts where you can take the global variables as an input, and you modify those variables somewhere on top. You give it to your engineer or whoever is taking care of your instance, and they will copy and paste the script. They will, of course, make sure the variable names are correct, and the script should work. That is how I write my scripts. You should never write a script that if you run it on any unknown environment, it shouldn't fail. Your script should throw an error. Your script should not do its job, but it should handle those cases where if something is not relevant, it should throw an error. If the custom field name is not, if the custom field is not there, then of course handle it in your script. So for managing these automations like in different Jira instances, like doing the same automation, maybe you are required to do it. Maybe you have a requirement where your both the Jira instances should follow same processes. Then automation rules will not really work properly. I mean, when you export your rule and when you try to import the same rule, you will still have to manually modify the project ID or project name or issue type ID. So you will have to make those changes anyways. And when you have a script with these global variables, it actually makes it very easy for you. So I hope I have given you some pointers. I know it's not a complete list, but personally, and based on my experience and based on what I think working with clients, I think if given a choice, especially if you're on Jira Data Center, then use ScriptRunner for Jira, not automations. Okay, that is it. That is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much.